From fair housing grants to local firefighter salaries, we've brought you multiple stories over the last month about how the Trump administration's cuts are affecting Idahoans. Well, one of the latest hits, money from the Emergency Food Assistance Program that some Idaho organizations use to help feed our hungry neighbors. Abby Davis has been covering this story. And Abby, 4 local nonprofits are affected by this.
Brian, one spokesperson called the program a lifeline and hopes the cancellation isn't permanent since it helps them afford more expensive items. The work never ends at the Idaho Food Bank, as the nonprofit tries to make sure no Idahoan goes hungry. But President Randy Ford says they recently got some bad news.
It's always unfortunate to have cuts come at a time of increased need.
The federal government is making cuts to the Emergency Food Assistance Program, known as TFAP. Specifically, the bonus portion of the USDA program, which gives organizations around the country extra food on top of the money they already get.
USDA has already purchased it, and so they just give it to whoever will take it.
It's important because it allows us to serve greater portions of the state with more varieties of food.
The Idaho Food Bank is one of 4 organizations in the Gem State that gets food through the program, which the Department of Health and Welfare oversees. In total, IDHW estimates about a $900,000 loss.
One bonus load, if you're looking at value, can be $50,000 to $70,000 in one truckload.
South Central Community Action Partnership spokesperson Michelle Picklesheimer says they've had 4 loads canceled. The nonprofit gives food to more than a dozen pantries and soup kitchens.
It's most of the protein, different meats, fruits, cheese, milk. All of those typically have been bonus loads. We're back to doing dry storage, which means that's really going to have a big impact in the quality and the variety of food that people get.
The Idaho Food Bank has had 3 loads canceled.
Protein is very expensive and it's much more limited in terms of availability. We're actively looking at how do we augment our distribution to try and replace what we can, or at least have other offerings.
Picklesheimer says she anticipated some cuts, especially since we went from a Democrat to a Republican president, but did not expect how fast everything would happen. She says they haven't heard how long this cancellation will last, Brian, and that's really been the case for most, if not all, of these federal cuts that have happened recently.
True, everything's kind of up in the air with the cuts and the freezes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also pointing out, like, some of this dry goods, this stuff that lasts longer in boxes and stuff, not as healthy as some of those other items that now have to be cut.
No.
All right, thank you very much, Abby.